I was too busy yesterday covering Pokemon Worlds to talk about the other big news that went down in the Pokemon community. People have gone absolutely crazy over this one because comicbook.com got to ask a question to the COO of Game Freak. The Pokemon Company is having conversations about how to ensure that future Pokemon games are quality products while being released on a regular release schedule. Wait, that's the news? Comicbook.com did ask whether there was a specific schedule that the Pokemon brand was beholden to when it came to the release of new Pokemon games. I think in general, if you look at the past, the path we've taken up until now has been constant release, always regularly releasing products on a fairly fixed kind of cadence, you might say. Always having these products able to be introduced and new experiences for our customers, that is how we've operated until now. I think we're still operating in that way, but there's more and more conversations as the development environments change about how we can continue to do this while making sure we're ensuring really quality products are also being introduced. Like, there's no information here. The Pokemon Company is working on their development cycle. And they've always been doing that, and they're trying to just kind of optimize things. That's how every company runs.
But no, we gotta take it further, guys. Game Freak bad, bring back National Dex.
The response was the closest we may get to an acknowledgement about issues faced with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as it had significant technical issues post-release. Games required several significant patches on its release, which has marred what was otherwise a top-selling game for the franchise. It's the hypocrisy coming from the brats in the Pokemon community that really gets to me, but now it's spilled out into Nintendo in general. Just everyone's a loser because social media is ruining their brains. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just shattering sales records for Pokemon, doing incredibly well, and Tears of the Kingdom also doing very well, but not as well as Pokemon. However, the gaming community just cannot cope with that. Tears of the Kingdom is a total glitch fest that crashed on me more times than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did, and now there's like all these lies about where like, oh, well, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is selling less units per month than Tears of the Kingdom, because after 8 months, it only has 22 million compared to the 7 weeks for 18 million, even though in 6 weeks, Scarlet and Violet still sold more at 20 million. And I've argued with dozens of people that just cannot comprehend that 20 is a larger number than 18. The quote-unquote performance issues of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet don't impact the game in any meaningful way because it's not an action RPG. Oh no, it gets a little slow around the lake and other intensive areas and has no more glitches than any other like modern game. And the takeaways people have from this interview are some of the most ignorant things I've ever seen. If people can wait 6 years for a new Legend of Zelda game and it sells 10 million in 3 days, Pokemon can do the same. Actually, no, Pokemon can do the same with a main series game every 3 years and then outsell Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. These kids know nothing about the game sales, they know nothing about game development, all they have is their narcissism and entitlement. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rush game is forever bad. This is just a blatant lie. We have online connection now and patches for the game to make it not bad if there were major issues on launch. So a game is not forever bad, just pick it up a couple months after launch and then it's going to be fine. 300 idiots agreed with this. Also, it's a double lie because the sales figures, Pokemon's winning. And then here's like the ultimate NPC ignorance that we keep on saying. How about stop releasing games every year and rushing them out? I think that's a good way to do so. Except they're not rushed out. The games are complete and work really well. We have Pokemon Let's Go being a masterpiece. Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's a great game, and then it's incredible once you have the DLC. The default ignorant hate towards Game Freak is just immediately debunked by comparing Pokemon games to the average game release nowadays, or just applying common sense or understanding how Game Freak development works. Some people actually think they're releasing a game that was developed in a year, that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet took a year to make, Pokemon Sword and Shield and all that stuff, or that it's predatory to have DLC to expand the game beyond what's already a full-priced value game. Like, Pokemon Sword and Shield, worth 60 bucks. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, worth 60 bucks. Now, I will give credit for a little bit of consistency because people weren't super happy with Pokemon Sun and Moon. They're solid games, but with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that was the definitive Generation 7 game, and it really felt like Pokemon Sun and Moon could have had a bit more inside of it compared to Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, but then Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were just great. It's like, yeah, if you want to play Generation 7, just go straight to Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. That has everything you want, and then it really, like, brings the experience together. That's kind of thing about Pokemon Sword and Shield. You play through Pokemon Sword and Shield with the DLC, and you have a great Pokemon experience spread out over 2 years for the price of 1.5 games. And it also keeps on proving that all these people are either liars or they're too stupid and stuck in their narcissism to understand how wrong they are. They just latch on to whatever NPC point they want to be real. They want to believe in, even though it's like simply debunked. So like, how about stop releasing games every year? But they didn't. People still hated Pokemon Sword and Shield, even though like you have a base foundation of the game, you have a lot of development already done, and then you add DLC onto it for a year's worth of work, but then the other development team is working on Pokemon Legends Arceus, working on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at that time, and then all the development cycles are still going fine. Same thing with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We're not getting a Pokemon game every year, and we're also not like forced to buy another full-price game just a year later, and then we get like the complete total experience in the long run. That's just better for everyone, so I don't get it, right? I love Pokemon. No, you don't. Like, real Pokemon fans don't deliberately lie or just try to find the most hateful angle possible to feed their own entitlement. But I don't need a new game every single year. Cool, we don't have a new game this year. Why are you complaining? Also, a year and a half ago, that was a good thing with Pokemon Legends Arceus being the game that everyone praised. Like, this is what Game Freak needs to do. This is the future of Pokemon. But going from November to January isn't that big of a change, and it also is contradicting to what these people are saying. Like, Pokemon games need an extra year, they need an extra 2 years, they need to take a page out of Animal Crossing's book, or Smash, or Legend of Zelda, and take as long as possible to get games out, which just doesn't make any sense. And then, like, yeah, Pokemon Legends, awesome, great, fine, no problems there. And again, we have, like, this is a Game Freak game, while we had the other Game Freak team working on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then using what they learned from Pokemon Legends to make Pokemon Scarlet and Violet better. There's never any consistency, and it's always just like the dumbest take from a majority of the Pokemon community. It's unbelievable. My best idea? Hire enough people to have an A, B, and C team. They already have an A and B team. Like, people will just go onto the Game Freak Bulbapedia page. They go down here, the company currently employs a staff of 169 people, and then they attack Game Freak over it by going, oh, billion-dollar company, largest franchise in the world, only employs 169 people and makes a game every single year. That's unacceptable. Even though, no, hundreds of people work on a main series Pokemon game as a part of like the Game Freak development cycle. It's multiple companies inside of the development pipeline, but these people are so stupid they actually believe it's just 169 people at Game Freak making a Pokemon game in a year every single year. And then you're like, that's why it's bad. I don't know anything else, but that's why it's bad, and I know better than the largest franchise in the world. But now they want a C team arbitrarily added in. A team works on generation starting games every 4 years. Oh, now they also want, like, so wait. They're adding multiple more teams into this, and then they want it to be 4 years for generation instead of 3. Like, it's never enough. That's how you know these people are just brats. That just don't understand anything. It's children. B team works on experimental games 2 years after. Oh, so wait, now they're trying to be like, okay, so I can't. My brain is broken. So I think to get to this point, you actually have to believe, like, oh, it's just Game Freak, 169 people making a game every year. Maybe splitting up, like, oh, it's 80 people working on Game 1, and then 80 people working on Game 2, and it's still too much to have, like, a new Pokemon game every year. Now they want to split that into 3 teams, or hire 500 more people, arbitrarily create 3 teams, and then that still only leads to a Pokemon game every 2 years. C team makes DLC for both, while studios like Ilko run support. Don't know if this will work. Wow. Like, imagine being that stupid, where you just have no idea what you're talking about, and then at the end you also just add in, don't know if this will work. It's just NPCs. They don't know why they hate. They're just toxic. They're just negative. They're just piling in with the rest of the Pokemon community. Central Leaks reposting one of the articles about this. Also, it's really scummy. Like, Go Nintendo just stealing the comic book article and then Go Nintendo the one getting all the attention. Unless Go Nintendo is an affiliate of comic book gaming, but or comicbook.com, but they have like their own gaming thing. So that's really weird. Like you go to the Go Nintendo page, they say comicbook.com, and then bad actor influencers like Centro that are notorious for stealing things in the past, they just take the first one they say and not go to the source and not give the source the proper credibility. So like further just stupidity from the Pokemon community to engage and indulge and support this kind of behavior anyways. But yeah, Centro made a post. So let's see what the Pokemon leak community, those sad fools, think. Keep product quality high. If they think what they released is high quality, whatever they're smoking must be laced with something. Default, unfounded, invalid toxicity. Pokemon Let's Go is a masterpiece. And that's still like in this modern era of Pokemon. We're talking about like Nintendo Switch and stuff. And then Pokemon Sword and Shield with DLC is amazing. So like if you're hating on Pokemon Sword and Shield while acknowledging DLC, again, you're just like default hate and you bring nothing to the conversation whatsoever. After that, we had Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shine Pearl. People had issues with that. That was Ilka. And then Game Freak did Pokemon Legends Arceus. So we have like 2021 plus 2022 covered. And people just like default praise the trash that was that game. So like they just have it completely backwards. That is how stupid the Pokemon community has like collectively become. The culmination of the Pokemon community's engagement on social media is the complete opposite of what is correct. And it's like a perfect gauge to where if you just go 180 of whatever the take is, you actually have objectively what is correct. It's kind of unbelievable. And we also saw this with Pokemon World, so I did a lot of coverage about that, to where we're just seeing defense for cheating and hacking the games, and then players that are cheating getting disqualified and then demanding respect from the Pokemon community, while also being hypocritical, saying, oh, I can't afford $60 for Pokemon Legends or Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, but I can afford thousands of dollars to compete and fly out to Japan. I love Scarlet Violet and Legends Arceus, but I can't even get through a Terra Raid without it glitching. That's a lie. Most Terra Raids are glitch-free, and even when it does glitch, it's not like a game-breaking issue most times. Sometimes you get the freezes, but those got patched out. It's also the deliberate and unbelievable dishonesty that you keep seeing in the Pokemon community as well, and like the confirmation bias and the selective reasoning stuff, where yeah, 9 out of 10 raids go fine, but then one raid glitches out, again, which kind of happens for every game anyways, where just something funky is going to happen occasionally, especially in like complex 3D games, and it's like, no, this proves everything, all my hatred, all my negativity towards Game Freak. And also, I love Legends Arceus, but they can't say anything bad about Legends, and then it's all contradiction. They will contradict themselves within the same sentence, if not the same tweet. They don't want to slow down releases, they're going to have to increase manpower, but they have increased manpower. These people are just too stupid. Here's some things they can do. Hire a writer, a real one. Well, writing and storytelling is subjective, so that doesn't really mean anything. Also, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet story, really good. Man, that Area Zero, like as you're learning and that unfolds in the final battles and stuff, that moved me more than I've experienced in a long time for a Pokemon game. The little changes they had to Pokemon Let's Go were pretty cool, like when Lorelei shows up and you're like, whoa, 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 this wasn't in my red and blue. And then having the 3D retelling of the Lavender Town Tower actually teared up. It was some good stuff. Oh, same thing with the dog, man. I couldn't handle that in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet too well. No, they actually did a really good job with the writing. Pokemon Legends is actually the problem, where I'd say, actually, yeah, maybe get someone that can keep you to your own lore and not just destroy everything for no reason. Have teams that focus exclusively on monster and monster animations. They literally do. That is Creatures. That is the Pokemon 3D CG company that they have under their development umbrella. Switch to a more stable engine like Unity or Unreal. Now, I don't know how those interactions actually work with the Nintendo Switch and development, or how the current Pokemon engine runs, but I also haven't seen an honest dismantling of that and honest opinions about how that should interact or how development is supposed to happen. So that's kind of black box, but the Pokemon community is just too ignorant and negative to actually understand that more than I do, so we can't get anything there. The fact that they think current product quality is high is the problem. Yeah, there's no problem, especially once you get the DLC in. And then contradiction. The thing is, it's not the 3D models that let the game down. They are great. It's the lack of world care and mechanic tweaking which kills the experience. This person up here said, the brand is the animations and the models. They can put out a new game every 5 years for all I care and make them as memorable as the 2D era again. I mean, here's my list. Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver number 1, Pokemon Let's Go number 2, Pokemon Sword and Shield with DLC number 3, and then Pokemon Scarlet Violet number 4. Maybe Scarlet Violet DLC takes over Pokemon Sword and Shield. But like, yeah, I'm enjoying Pokemon as much as ever. And then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire being number 5, most likely. So this 2D era stuff, that's just nostalgia and desperately trying to find excuses to justify your unfounded negativity. They're crazy if they think they can somehow make the games better without changing the cadence. Every game since X and Y, when the cadence first began, has not been on the same level compared to the games made in the years prior. It's no coincidence. X and Y is great. X and Y made up for the complete tragedy to the Pokemon franchise that was Generation 5. It brought Pokemon back. X and Y was the renaissance, and this is another phenomenon where like no one had anything bad to say about Pokemon X and Y when it came out. That was the revival of Pokemon because all the old school fans got burned out by Generation 5. They were just like, wow, this isn't Pokemon anymore. This is the worst thing. I might never get back. And X and Y was so good that it brought back the fans that thought they would never play Pokemon again. But now, like, oh wait, that's bad for all of this Game Freak 3D era bad argument, and that also ignores like ORAS still being an amazing game that was released the year after Pokemon X and Y and being the best game in the 3DS era, so that doesn't even track anyways. Then there's interviews talking about how the cadence changed with Generation 5, or at least the development ideas, but you're not allowed to touch the sacred cow that is Generation 5. You can't say anything bad about it, even though all the problems that apply to modern Pokemon started at Generation 5. Now, Pokemon Black and White 2 was a year and a half into Pokemon X and Y. There was a weird shift from, like, Japanese first releases to simultaneous global releases. So, like, that's also another thing that's hard to pin down. But it's not like, oh, Pokemon releasing games for everyone at the same time is bad. No one's ever had that take, and that would be, like, the impossible spin right here. So, yeah, it's like, these people, they just don't have anything. And then after that, it's just the same NPC comments. Keep product quality high, but it's not good. But it's not good. They need to slow down releases. They just need to slow down releases, hire more people. Ignorant takes, no understanding. And that's like the big story that's blown up as this kind of comes out. And then the complete lie that Pokemon games are rushed, even though they are complete and they are worth the $60. And every argument they say, like, well, it's bad because there's glitches, applies to Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, because that game has countless dupe glitches that have destroyed the integrity of the game and required many patches on release as well. And like I said, the game somehow just crashed for me more times. There's a lot more jank, and only more glitches and jank are going to be discovered for, like, speedrunning and stuff. And even when people are like, well, yeah, even the first Breath of the Wild, you know, that was way too good of a game, even though you can just, like, clip into shrines and stuff. So where's that? Nope, it's all hypocrisy, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.